is the Rangers Journal now.
Hello, yes, welcome to the Ibrox Channel podcast. It's at 9 p.m. It is Wednesday, and we are going to have a very special pod tonight as the Bears descend on the Basque region in preparation for tomorrow's mouth-watering tie against Athletic Club Bilbao. Myself and our esteemed panel of guests, we're going to be discussing our thoughts on the match, and importantly, do we have a chance? Do we have a chance? Now, we'll certainly be looking at that. Also, we'll be having a bit of a Q&A session, so do get your comments and questions in, and we will go through them. Or if it's easier and you're struggling, you can tweet the Ibrox channel. I've got my phone here, so we can do some on there as well. So to join me this evening to look ahead to this mouth-watering European quarter-final. It's not often you get to say that. Well, actually, if you're Rangers, you do say it quite often every few years, don't you? It's Dylan. How you doing, big man?
I'm good, guys. I'm good. Happy to be back on. Looking forward to Thursday.
Oh yeah, do you know what? It's in around 24 hours' time. Do you know? I don't even want to think about it. But yes, we will be discussing it. So yeah, welcome, Dylan. And of course, we have the man, the myth, the legend. It's Deano. How you doing, big man?
I'm good, thank you, buddy. How are you getting on?
Do you know what? I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad. It's been a good day. I'm just back from football, actually. I've been playing fives, and I channeled my inner Dessers tonight. So I had a great header that was saved off the line, but the 2 yard out ball that was just bouncing around the area, I of course put over the bar. So I'm too old now. I think that's it. Any chance of playing for Rangers is done now, I think. But yeah. So yeah, good to have you on, Deano. Good to have you on. So don't forget as well, guys. Off to the Match I Go is tonight's podcast sponsor. Scan the QR code on the screen. That'll take you to the website. Lots of great stuff on there. And we've also got a fantastic competition with Off to the Match I Go, where you can win an incredible framed graphic signed by Willie Johnston and Colin Steen. To enter that competition, drop a screenshot showing that you've subbed to the Rangers Journal on YouTube and Off to the Match I Go on Facebook. And then when we hit 3K subscribers on YouTube, we will do a draw out of the hat, and we'll see who'll win that fantastic picture. So yeah, get doing that, guys. And right, so let's get to it. We're getting some comments coming in now. Scotty, hats off, the great breakdown last night with yourself and Doug Dillon. Guys, if you've not seen it, they've done a fantastic lowdown on Athletic Bilbao. So if you want to know all you need to know about the team and what's going to happen, then that is the video to look at. It came out last night, so well done with that. So get your comments in, guys. So at the weekend, when we were coming back from 2-0 down against Aberdeen, Athletic Bilbao beat 10th placed Rayo Vallecano. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Beat them 3-1, which actually, despite the score, looked like a bit of a fairly even game. Dylan, have you seen much of Athletic Club Bilbao in the league at all this season?
No, I haven't. Mate. I've kept an eye on the results, to be fair, and I know that I see this on the lowdown last night. They're not a very high scoring team for a team that's sitting fourth in La Liga. It's all 1-0s or 2-1s, and they've conceded quite a lot of goals. Not quite a lot of goals, but about half of the goals they've scored. So I think we've definitely got a chance tomorrow if all the players sort of turn up and give a good performance.
Do you know what? I'm ready to get the meme out. You know the meme from Dumb and Dumber where Jim Carrey is, it's like, so you're telling me there's a chance? Because there's always a chance for Rangers in Europe. But yeah, no, definitely. It's going over. I watched their game at the weekend, and to be fair, they're good at moving the ball around, which is something we did see at Ibrox. But yeah, they're a bit shot shy. The Williams brothers, they've been fairly good and fairly hot for them. But I think, was it 11 goals for one of the brothers this season? I've got a stat here somewhere. I'll check that out in a minute. But yeah, not a very high scoring team.
I do know, Andrew, that they made 9 changes at the weekend, and I think that was maybe a lot. Yeah, I think they made about 9 changes, same as us. I think that was a lot to do with how a lot of players were sort of. It was a different team that Vallecano were facing, so I think the players were trying to prove themselves, maybe try to get in the squad for tomorrow night and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see.
It certainly will be interesting to see. I had a comment actually from the press conference earlier, Deano, from Ernesto Valverde, the Athletic Bilbao coach, and it is Dessers is constantly running into spaces and is a beacon and a dangerous player. Deano, do you agree with him?
I wonder what he's been smoking.
I think he's just high on life. I think he knows a good striker when he sees him, eh? It's what Mitch would be saying right now, I think. Yeah. Do you think Dest will start tomorrow?
Aye, I think going by the fact that he probably shouldn't have started some games, and he has started. So I think we can just, say that he's probably one of the first names on the team sheet for tomorrow night, which is probably against the majority of the fan base. However, in Barry we have to trust.
In Barry we trust. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird situation that we're in at the minute. I know it's a bit of a strange one for Barry as well, because of course in Scotland we only seem to do well when we go 2 goals down. In Europe we haven't done so well at home, but away from home in Europe we seem to be doing all right. It really is more of an enigma than even Cyril Dessers, I think. But yeah, so we've got some good questions coming through. Guys, get your questions in and we will answer them. So Dylan, Scotty does have a question for you. First question for you: where can Rangers win and lose the tie tomorrow night? Where can we hurt Bilbao? And what's our weakness? So I hope Barry's listening now. So go on, Dylan.
I think, and again, I'm going back to the old round because I gave my piece on it. I think that if we play with a back 5, that's probably my biggest worry. The reason being is because we've got 2 very dangerous wingers. So straight away your wing backs are occupied by that. Then they're attacking full backs. So you're going to create an overload in the wide areas. You've got an extra man in the middle, in the back 5, so you've got your 3 at the back type thing. I don't particularly like that setup because I don't think it gives us a very good outball or a very good structure. I think that's what we will go with, but I think we just match them up and go 4-3-3, not a 4-2-3-1. Just go a 4-3-3, flat in the middle. Our wingers can match their wing backs, and our right and left back can match their wingers, and then the midfield just speaks for itself. You go man for man, and you have to try and be aggressive tomorrow night. For me, try and take the game to them, especially the first 10 minutes. Try and rattle them. But I think if we do get too greedy and too complacent with a press, then they will pick you off and they'll go into the attack in behind. But I would love to see them being brave. We showed we can cope with 4 at the back against them. It was at home, but we were down to 10 men. We had 4 at the back. They didn't cause as much problems. I'd like to see us being brave and going 4 at the back and go and try and win the game.
Yeah, no, interested actually. Do you think a variation of the back 5 could potentially work, or is it just completely out for you? So, like for example, where out of possession it's a back 5, in possession it kind of goes to a back 3 with people pressing forward, or is it just 4-3-3 for you straight out?
I think you've got the best chance of winning if you go 4-3-3. The reason being, everybody knows their man as well, so there's no that disconnect where should I be with him, should I be holding my line, or as well. I know you're saying when we're going to attack, if you've got a back 4, a midfield 3, and then a front 3, you've got essentially got your 2 on the right hand side and your 2 on the left. If you've got a back 5, you're playing a 5-3-2. You've not got any hitting the touchline. You've only got your wing backs here to give you an outball, and they're going to be pinned back with their wingers. So again, I just think the back 5 is going to cause more hassle than it's worth. I think they'll be able to pin us in easier, and I think it's harder then to pick up who you're supposed to be marking and who you should be placing that way. So I would definitely, for me, I would be more comfortable if we went a 4-3-3 and just go man for man with them.
Yeah, no, fair enough, Dylan, fair enough. I can see where you're coming from there. Dino, I was actually just discussing off air with Dylan there just before we came on, and there's a side to it where if we had picked up a 1-0 win, let's say at Ibrox last week, do you think that would have been worse for us because we would have maybe tried to sit back? Because we're not a good unit really at just sitting back and defending, are we? I know we put in a great performance on Thursday, but are we better as an attacking side, Dino?
I mean, it's quite circumstantial in my opinion. I think this season we've seen every type of Rangers, haven't we? So, but I've just got a funny feeling that we're going to play 5 at the back, 3 in midfield, Tierney behind Dessers, and keep it as tight as possible. And to go for a Walter Smith-esque Manchester 2008 European game. That's just my feeling. We're them down, and as for a moment's team, pass the ball to Tierney to hope that he can have a moment of magic. So that's kind of where my that's kind of my thinking behind that. So aye, I honestly can't see us going and attacking it. And am I not right in saying that one of the Williams brothers is injured?
Yes, allegedly Inaki Williams, who's got a record of 251 consecutive La Liga appearances, not missed a La Liga match since the 20th of April 2016, is allegedly out. I did see Kerryfield did post there that somebody said that they reckon that was part of a conspiracy and we need looking into, of course. But
on that, to contradict myself, I did think the boy that came on for him was better than him on Thursday night. The boy that missed the penalty, I actually thought he caused more problems than what that Williams actually did. That's just my opinion. But if he's fit, I'd imagine him and his brother will both start. So, aye. And in terms of how we're going to set up defensively, I think Tav will probably be the third centre half, and we might even, I don't know, like who's going to play right wing back. It's not going to be Ross McCausland, is it? So the only other option you've probably got is a stick and be Ridvan out there, and then you've got Jefte on the left, which gives me the feel like it did with Barisic. So, aye,
something about left back, isn't there these days? Scotty, welcome, big man. How are you feeling? We are under 24 hours away from facing Bilbao in a make or break tie. And what's going through your head right now, big man?
What's going through my head, Andrew, is today I've done a gym session, trained up her, then I went an 8-mile run after it, and I thought, I'll come home and have a beer. Pulls the beer out of the fridge here, right? Now, it looks passable, looks very passable, right? Pulls the beer out of the fridge, and I always check the date on them. I'm obsessed with it. It's like an OCD thing. Check the date on it. May 2024. I'm like,
oh,
is that going to be touch and go moment? Am I going to be like questioning things?
I'll give your bowels a spring clean. That will.
Aye, exactly.
I guess you'll find out in the morning.
Well, I took a sip of it, and as soon as I'm finished speaking, it's going right down the sink. Dino, it's absolutely barking.
Do you know what? I love the fact you just drop in there, just a casual 8-mile run, just a wee 8-mile run, and then I thought I'll have a wee beer. But actually, you got a very good question in there, Scotty. So you're worried about the back three. Obviously, Dino was mentioning the back three there. Our whole defence has been shoehorned in at times this season. What do you see if there is a back three? What do you see it being?
If it's a back three, it's probably going to be Balogun, Ciala and Suter, I would imagine. I think Tavernier done a good job on now. I don't know whether it was Nico or the other boy Tav played against, but Tav done a good job at right back in the home leg. My only worry is with the back five is they look as if they're getting in each other's way. I don't know what Dylan thinks about it, but to me it's not working fluidly as I would like it. I think they're quite guilty of, as I say, is getting in each other's road. Proper get sent off last week. It wasn't really his fault, but the error comes for Balogun playing in a position that he's not really used to in the left side of a back three. That's my main concern. I think that's where Bilbao could hurt us tomorrow night. Whereas if we were a flat back four with 2 6s with Barron and Raskin, I would feel a whole lot better. You could play Diamande just sitting in there with him, telling him to get forward and cause carnage, and do what Diamande does in Europe. It's definitely when he turns up. But to me, the back five is a bit of a worry, because I think I heard like Dylan and Doug on a lowdown last night. That was the best lowdown we've had yet. Really broke it down. They used stills. They spoke about the first leg and where Bilbao got at us and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. My main concern is folk are going to get in the way of each other and fought. I can already see like Balogun and Ciala tripping over each other and somebody tapping into the back post, if that makes any sense. Like it's not that there's a problem with the quality, Andrew. I think it's a problem with the relationships on the park, if that makes any sense. I don't think nobody knows where they're supposed to be in this, and we've had different defenders in different games. We've not had a chance to play a settled defence since Barry came in, due to injuries and suspensions and everything else. So I've got my concerns with the setup tomorrow night. I really hope Barry goes with a back four, because went with a back four at Pittodrie, we were fine. Went with a back four at home to Bilbao, we were absolutely fine. We barely let them in. So I would be inclined to stick with that and just bulk up the midfield.
Yeah, no, do you know what? I can see that being a very strong unit. Obviously we've got players back from it's not injury, from suspension now. Diamande, who will be massive. Raskin, hopefully he can have a decent game. Dylan, do you see possibly, obviously Curtis is in the squad as well, had a fairly decent game at Pittodrie, was chomping at the bit there, trying to get the ball at every twist and turn. Do you think he could possibly feature later on? Obviously, I don't think he'd be a starter maybe, but do you think there is a place for him in that squad?
Well, it's funny you say that, because again on the lowdown last night, my team that I predicted, or I would like to see, when I went my four at the back, it would be your average four at the back, you know that. And then the midfield three, actually put Hadji in there along with Raskin and Dio, just because I liked Hadji's work rate. And when he came into the middle against Aberdeen, he sort of won the flick on. He tripped the ball through the Dacers, and then he ended up arriving the other side of the pitch and scoring the screamer. So I thought there was a wee bit of invention there from him. I'd like to see him in the middle of the park. And I actually put Bajrami on the left. And I thought when he went out on the left against Aberdeen, and every time he's played on the left, I'm not saying he's been decent, but that's where I think he's been the most effective for us, is when he's played on the left. So I thought I'd maybe put him out there. Now, you can move Hadji out on the left and bring Conor Barnett into the middle. Or I say to Doug at the end of the loading, I says, and I'd have absolutely no problem with putting in Finlay Curtis. I thought what I seen from him, it was really, really good. It actually took me by surprise. I didn't think he had that. He looked very comfortable in a first team for a youth player. And I know that he's in the first team now, but I just thought that even the goal that got chopped off, the boys all over his back, he's pushing him, he's trying to get him off bars, and the wee man sneaks underneath him, gets to the byline, great cutback, unlucky with the Deano header, and Igaman finishes. And I just think that he was playing without any sort of fear of losing the ball or fear of, I know he has a wee bit of a problem with Aberdeen's, I think, second goal, but he's not a left back, so absolutely I would have no problem even starting him, Andrew, tomorrow night. And then if it starts to go and Pete Tong, take him off and you shore it up a wee bit, do you know what I mean?
There we go. Nick, Curtis was making first half at Pittodrie, but I think there was quite a few players that didn't get past marks, but he definitely was somebody that was looking a bit brighter than some. Dino, I'm going to ask you one now. I probably already know your answer, to be fair, pal, but it's the big one. Dessers or Igamani up front, that is the question. Or is it a question? Is it just an already open and shut case?
That's not for debate, who had won, but I've got to be realistic. There's Xander, it's going to be Dessers. I think the majority of the fan base can probably say that with gritty teeth, but I don't think Igaman's going to start. Dessers seems to be Barry's preferred option, and I think we'll see Igaman come on. As I say that, I think we'll make it difficult for them tomorrow, and pretty much the same as the Thursday night, Igaman coming on and making the difference when legs are tired and things like that. I think that's what's going to happen. And putting him out on the left, let's hope to God he doesn't do that, because he's no left winger. Like Dylan said, I think if we'll be hitting anybody on the left wing, it's probably going to be Bajrami. That's because he did play well at the weekend, let's be honest. But Dessers, unfortunately, is going to start for me.
Well, of course, Ernesto Valverde did clearly watch the Dessers highlight reel on YouTube when he was saying Dessers is constantly running into spaces and is a beacon and a dangerous player. Don't get me wrong, he is always running. He's running into the right spots, to be fair. He does a lot of work off the ball, but it's the end products which I think which can let him down. A game like this, we aren't going to create loads of chances, but there is method to some madness of starting Dessers, then bringing Igamani on a little bit later when, if it's still tight and they might be tiring. So, yeah, we are going to have to manage how we do this. Guys, there's lots of people getting comments in. If you're not liking and subscribing to the Rangers Journal, then please do turn notifications on as well, and you'll be notified every time the Rangers Journal goes live. Scotty, obviously, Bailey Royce had a great performance against Bilbao in the first leg. Obviously, took a nasty knock, which you always know it's a nasty one when the camera pans away. Question here again from Weezander. Does it merit a start away in Bilbao, do you think?
Nah. Diamandi's more proven in Europe than what Bailey Rice is. It's no offence, but we've got Connor Barn, Nico Raskin and Mohamed Diamandi, and we've got a chance of making a European semi-final. Isn't it a time for experiments in my eyes, to be honest? I can see why Barry done it last week, Andrew, in terms of getting the boy a start, and he played well up until he got his injury. He played really, really well, very composed in the ball, brought a balance to midfield I've not seen all season. But at the same time, I think a Diamandi, and would he be the man to drop out? It depends on what system Barry's going to play, to be honest. If he's going to go with 3 or 2, or a 5-3-2-2-1, or a 5-3-2-2-2, or whatever, a 5-2-2-2, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Seems to be, that's what I mean about his team. They seem to be flexible, but they're not sure in terms of what their roles are and what they're doing, because there's no cohesion when it comes to getting the ball up the park. Nobody seems to know what they're doing. So I think I'm Mohamed Diamandi this season in Europe, and I look at Nice, his performance against Nice away, scores a great goal. When he's impressed mostly in the Europa League this year. Braskin's the same, let's be honest. Braskin suits a bigger stage. Diamandi suits a bigger stage. But when it comes to bread and butter, they're not great players. They're not suited to Scottish League. They don't stand out like they should. So for me, I wouldn't be going with Bailey Rice. I would begin Bailey Rice's experience for now to the end of the season. I'd be starting him every match with Finlay Curtis, depending on the system Ferguson's going to go with. But for the more, no, it's a midfield 3 of Barron, Raskin. Barron being your bulldog, the middle of the park. Raskin being your sitter. And Andy just getting forward and a linking with Dessers. I want to quickly head back to Dessers, if that's alright, Andrew.
Go for
it. 2 scenarios with Cyril Dessers tomorrow night, right? If Cyril Dessers turns up away to Fenerbahce and he ragdolled 3 centre-backs about the park, he ran channels, he scored goals, he was just a general nuisance. Trouble is, we've not seen that since that night. If Igerman starts tomorrow night, Igerman's going to do a more effective job, depends on his space they're going to get up front and how quickly the ball gets up. But in terms of holding up play and stuff, Igerman's a better player. In between the posts, I would say Igerman's a better player as well. But it genuinely depends on. That's always been my issue with Cyril Dessers. It's not that he can't find the back of the net. You get any striker 12 chances, they're going to bang one in eventually. But for me, Igerman's more clinical, and Dessers is just far too much a hit and a miss, and I wouldn't be risking it tomorrow night. If Igerman's not holding the ball up and not doing his job, you can quickly change it. It's just too much of a risk for me to play Cyril Dessers tomorrow night. If I knew guaranteed I was going to get the Fenerbahce away performance and not the Fenerbahce home performance, I would be starting Dessers tomorrow night 100%, because on his day he's a 10, on his off day he's a 2, just like Ronald de Boer said. So it's quite interesting. You've got 2 scenarios there, and it is genuinely like rolling a dice and hoping for an even number, because the even number's going to give you good Cyril Dessers and the odd number gives you bad Cyril Dessers. It's a 50-50 chance. So I would be starting with Igerman tomorrow night up front, and if we're going to be playing a long ball, get the ball up with him. You see what he done 2 minutes on the park at Ibrox last week. He done more in 2 minutes on the park than what Dessers done in 90. Dessers was just standing in front of the box the whole game, doing nothing. But
I think that's the thing with Dessers in that type of game, especially when you're on the back foot because you're a player down. I think with the long ball, now we've seen he can hold up the ball, but realistically, we've probably seen that 2 out of 10 times. Realistic, when you punt the ball up to him, if he's not having a good day, he's completely anonymous and invisible.
Andrew, I've seen it once in his whole Rangers career, and it was Fenerbahce away. It's the only time I've seen him playing that sort of Kenny Miller role in Europe. Is when you need your striker to hold it up, you need them to be big and strong and hustle and bustle defenders. He doesn't do it enough. That's his issue.
To be fair, I think I saw it Batista away as well, which, don't get me wrong, he scored a great goal that night. He did drift out a little bit towards the end. No, but yeah, like that came out of nowhere, because even Sam Lammers had an okay game that night. But yeah, no, that's a very good point, actually. Lots more questions coming in, guys. Do keep them coming in. Dylan, one kind of around what Scotty was saying earlier, where can Rangers win and lose the tie tomorrow night? Where can we hurt Bilbao? What are, I know he's put what's our weaknesses, but I'm going to ask you this, Dylan. What do you think is Bilbao's weaknesses at the minute? I know you've not seen too much of them, but obviously they do concede goals. They don't concede a hell of a lot of goals, but they don't score too many either.
So it's a good question, and I think that it ties into what you're talking about there with Dessers and Igaman. For me, right, if you go play your 4-3-3, you've matched them up in the midfield. You match them up on the wings. See if you start with Igaman, right, and you get the ball into his feet, their centre halves are going to be sucked into the play, right? It then allows your wingers to start making runs in behind or pop them off, like we saw against Fenerbahce with that third man running, where Askin was running through, and then he was playing in Tierney and stuff like that, because you've got the two options wide. That's where I would start Igaman all day, every day. If you then go and look to if Dessers, if he starts, I think we're going to struggle to build our play out, to even get the ball to him. Now, I know what you're saying is Tav's good at then finding him, running in behind and stuff like that. That only happens maybe once a game, if you're lucky. I would start Igaman, bring Dessers on, because Igaman would start to bring them in short, like I said, into the midfield, and when we're trying to build the play, then come 60, 65 minutes, bring Dessers on to go and stretch them. They're not going to want to turn and run towards their goal. So I think that, for me, that would be the ideal game plan. You've got Igaman who's coming short, receiving the ball, laying it off to your quick wingers, who can then go and try and hurt you and penetrate. And then come when they're a wee bit more tired and everything's been in front of them, start playing the ball in behind and getting them running back to their goal and try to catch our Chernies and our Dessers in running in there. They're not going to like that. I think that's our best option. But like I said, everybody has to have an 8 out of 10. Everybody has to do the hard yards. We have to make sure we're winning our 1v1 battles. Our communication has to be on point. Our concentration has to be on point. It's a collective. I don't think there's a certain, like, a switch that you can just say, if we do that, we'll go and win the game. I think it has to be every facet of the game has to be an 8 or 9 out of 10 to go and beat this mob, especially when you're going away from home. But like I said, we've showed good mentality, even coming back against Dundee, coming back against Aberdeen. I'd like to go and put that onus on Bilbao and make them go and really work for their win. If we don't win the game, really try and come at us and unlock us. If we sit back, I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you there, 100%, Dylan. Alex McLeish was talking earlier today, Dino, about Rangers in Europe and how it contrasts with our domestic form. He did say, I don't know if maybe it seems like a relief for some of the players when they go into Europe. They seem to express themselves a bit more than what they have done in the domestic league. I think there's an element of underdog mentality. There's definitely psychology involved in it. Obviously, we've seen Rangers this season, Dino. It gets us blue in the face that we can't beat essentially jobbers in the SPFL, but we can get good results out in Europe. Dino, can you explain it? Is it a psychological issue, do you think? Or is it just that, as Scotty said earlier, players just aren't suited to the Scottish game?
It's both. Players are physically weak and mentally weak. Simple as that. And it's exactly what it is in Europe. Although there's an expectation on you to win every game that you play for Rangers, in Europe, you're kind of going, you're expected to win, but if you didn't win, it's kind of, well, do you know, it's Europe. whereas every single game you play in the league and the domestic cups, you're expected to win and you have to win. A draw's as bad as a defeat, if that makes sense for the majority of clubs. And you've got to, the way that Scottish football is played to a different standard, and it's more physical, and we see that when other teams out with Rangers in Europe, you know, get bookings, send-ins off, and there's an uproar that, you know, that they've been cheated and whatnot. Well, because they get away with it in Scotland, and it's just the way that it is. It's the way that's always been as far as I can remember, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. So we just lack a physicality and we lack a mentality that's, as you said, they're Andrew, to beat the jobbers in the league. So yeah, and going into Europe, expectation, we're playing the competition favourites. Nobody fancies us. That totally plays in our favour. It's the exact same against Dortmund. If Dortmund were competition favourites, every man and their dog thought we were going to get pumped. We went there and pumped in. Do you know? So I fully expect that to be the sort of the narrative, definitely tomorrow. And I've just got a funny feeling it's going to play massively into our favour. And I wouldn't be surprised if it went to penalties and extra time and penalties. Sorry, and we win. Genuinely wouldn't be surprised.
I can't take another penalty shootout. As good as it would be. I know. Do you know what? The thing is, though, I felt last Thursday, there was something in the air, and it just kind of was. Now, don't get me wrong, it might have been a bit of a different game if we had 11 v 11, but we still got a massive result last week, considering we've been down to 9 men for the last 10 minutes. They didn't really lay a glove on us. Now, don't get me wrong, they're at home now. It's going to be a different kind of tie, but there's something in the air. Honestly, I trust this side more in Europe than in the league, and that is a mad problem to have, and I frankly just don't understand it. I really don't, and it's something that I can never get my head around. Scotty, how do you feel overall about tomorrow?
To be honest with you, I don't really know, mate. Like, you text me earlier on to ask how things were and all that kind of stuff, and it's difficult to say because I'm a lot more hopeful this week than what I was last week, because last week I was expecting them to come in and put a Leon performance on. You know, all you read about is the step up in quality, this, that, and the next thing. We done it 10 men and they didn't even kick their own arse, to be brutally honest with you. They missed a penalty. To me, tomorrow night, away for home, Rangers Thursday nights, it's possible. If your striker plays, if Dessers plays and he plays at a 10 instead of a 2, we're through. If Cherney turns up, we're through. If the centre-backs don't fall over each other, we're through. There's a lot of things that need to go in our favour. The fact that they've not got Nico Williams, I don't really know if that's a good or a bad thing, to be honest with you. I think left-back's an important role. I think you need to start Jeff there because he got a wee assist at the weekend. His confidence will be a wee bit higher. He's been took out of the team. He's had a rest. It looks as if he's bounced back well for it. You've also got the option of, depends what's going to happen at right back, that really. Depends whether Tav's going to be or Rid Van Yilmaz is going to be fit enough. That's where I could see Bilbao getting in behind, because whoever plays instead of Nico. Dylan, does Nico play on the right or the left?
He plays on the left, mate. And Aki's the one that's injured. His older brother's the one that's injured. He plays on the right, but they swap over as well. But the one that Tav done well against was Nico, the most dangerous one.
Right. Okay. So you've got an unknown quantity coming into that spotting. You've got two players that were told was your danger men. Rangers done the homework on them. So who else is going to come in? You might just have a complete world that comes in. Genuinely, it's up in the air. It's up in the air. I feel as if, see if that was Bilbao in third or fourth gear last week, we're through. Because they looked as if they didn't know what to do. Maybe it was the atmosphere, maybe it was the conditions. I don't. Maybe they just didn't know how to play against 10 men. I don't know. It's really, really
The low block, wasn't it? But we struggled in the league. That's what they struggled with. The low block.
I would be very surprised if we did to get through tomorrow night, Andrew. Very surprised.
Do you know what's funny? You said there, Scott, about third or fourth gear. I said last week at half time I expected them to go up one or two gears at half time, and
they didn't.
They didn't, and
didn't know what to do.
I know a lot of teams over the years, and a lot of players in those teams have came to Ibrox and they've been shell shocked with the atmosphere and they've got stage fright or whatever you want to call it. But I didn't really feel that was the case last week. I got the impression that they didn't have it in them to go up another couple of years. But I could be proven wrong, and they could come out and absolutely smash us the morning. But I just didn't see that in them last week.
I really don't think they will, Deano, to be honest with you. It's not that they're not a good side. I mean, they're fourth in La Liga. They're clearly not a bad side. But is the pressure getting onto them? Is Mourinho helped us by putting all these stuff on Instagram and saying there's an agenda to get Bilbao to final? Is that in their heads? There's something clearly not right with them, because they certainly weren't at their cell at Ibrox last week. But I need to reiterate the importance, but a back four tomorrow night is better than a back five. A back five causes mistakes. 100%. A back four with two sitting sixes is the way to go, in my opinion.
Do you know what? I think interestingly what you touched on there, Scotty, I think personally that going down to 10 men is what helped us. I've noticed that in the past, under Gerrard, we were very organised when we went down to 10 men, and there's been so many occasions we've played better with 10 men. Now, I think psychologically a team like Bilbao, early on in the game, we go down to 10. They did seem to be moving the ball around. They were pretty much in until, Proper obviously got the foot in. I think they just thought, you know what, we can take it easy, we will win this game, and I think that's what done it. Obviously there is that danger of tomorrow night that they know they've done their homework. Obviously the manager Ernesto Valverde was speaking in the press conference today. He said that we had a great comeback against Aberdeen. He says that we've played very good matches in Europe. We only lost to Manchester United in the last minute. We have players that work very well in the spaces. Dessers is a beacon, obviously I've mentioned that one earlier. We are dangerous in counter-attacks. Cheney is a bullet and is very accurate when it comes to scoring. Maybe this is why they're better away from home. So they are aware that, of how we play. Obviously, like any good management team would, and the backroom staff, they do their homework. But he says specifically here, they have a good counter-attack. I know they will be dangerous here, but we want to be dangerous for them. So obviously, some quite interesting things in the press conference earlier today. Obviously, Barry Ferguson was speaking as well. The important things, Leon Balogun, Václav Černý, Bailey Royce and Ridvan Yilmaz, they all trained and they are in contention for tomorrow. So that does help us with a little bit of squad depth. Obviously, Ferguson was kind of speaking about how wide open the kind of tie is. And keeping 11 men on the pitch is going to be key, because obviously past two games we have had 2 red cards. So it is one of those things. Dylan, got a few more questions here. I've just got a few more that have just come in. My screen's not loading. There we go. James Glasgow, he watched them against Villarreal, said they weren't too good. Obviously Villarreal still a fairly decent side there. Barry Ferguson clearly watches the Journal. Of course he does. We're helping him pick his team here. The weird thing was Bilbao last week played like we play against a team that sits in, like you were just talking about there. We did Ross County them, but to be fair, do you know what? Teams don't do that to us lately because they know they can get at us. They actually do attack, don't they? Which is a bit of a frustrating one. So we've went into weaknesses from Bilbao. Obviously, we've looked at back lineups. 4 at the back probably is the way forward. Looking ahead, if this does go to extra time, do you think Barry will be looking at that as a possibility and might save some players for later on in the game? Or is that a dangerous game to play, Dylan?
No, I think you need to consider all options, especially your quarter-final at the Europa League. I think, just to touch on what the boys were saying earlier, Dean and Scotty, when we're saying they didn't really go up a gear, I think that they took it for granted that we were down to 10 men. They know that they weren't under any danger and they had the second leg to go back to. I think they thought we'll get through this game. Doesn't really matter if we score here or not because we'll beat them at home. What I take for that though is we've faced them, not their best, but they've not even seen us attack yet. They don't even know what it's going to be like to face us with 11v11. So that's staying in our favour because we know exactly how they're going to play, the passes they play, they make, what they try to do, try to work it wide players cut in, have shots at goal, fizz it across the box. We've faced all that with 10 men. So if anything, we've got the advantage in knowing how they're going to come at us. They don't know how we're going to come at them. And I think that's something that, like I said, when Barry went to Fenerbahce, he caught them out with changing the formation. I think, again, he can catch them out by changing the formation and going the 4 at the back like we spoke about. But it is going to be difficult. I think that you've got players there who, if he doesn't start again, man, then they can potentially bring him on later for the extra time penalties. Danilo's an option as well. If Badrami's doesn't start again, he's a player he can bring on. Same with Hadji, same with Curtis, who's done pretty well. So he's got options here. I do think it will go to penalties. I do think that's the way the game. I think it'll be one each. I think it'll go penalties.
My heart won't take it.
Like Dino said, I think it'll be a first UEFA Cup run. Cut a penalty games to get us to the final.
Here a question, Andrew.
Go for it.
If it goes to penalties, do you pull Liam Kelly off and put Butland on? Or Liam Kelly?
Excuse me, do I do what to Liam Kelly? What?
Put Butland on for penalties?
No, not a chance.
Is Liam Kelly going to do the whole Kepa Arrizabalaga thing in the Carling Cup final years ago, where he's like, I'm not coming off, I'm staying where I'm refusing?
It's such a bad idea. Whenever you see that, and that's the thing, like you say, Carling Cup final, that happened. It does nothing for confidence.
I know.
Nah, not a chance. Kelly, Kelly is rightfully going to start tomorrow because of his heroics last week, and he has earned that place. And yeah, I think Butland does need a bit of time out to take stock, focus on training, and kind of hopefully try and. It is a difficult one when you look at Butland at the minute because there's been so many instances where he's cost us. But actually, there's something that I said in our WhatsApp group earlier, which I'm going to say to everyone here because I'm going to keep a promise if it does happen. So earlier we were talking about Dessers and if he does score. Now, if Dessers scores tomorrow and we win the game, I'm going to get Ross, who's on the Rangers Journal, I'm going to get his face tattooed on my backside. So come on, Dessers. If you score tomorrow, this is definitely going to make it happen now. If he scores and we win the game. Yes, Ross Graham, Riss Graham. Yep.
Why are you getting Sam Lammers tattooed in your ass, son?
I'm a man of my word, so that is definitely going to happen. If we win tomorrow, this is just the evidence. If Dessers gets us through, because tomorrow is essentially, in some respects, a warm-up for the final, in some respects. And I'm not jumping the gun a little bit here. Obviously, that's the stadium where the final is going to be taking place. So if you can get through there, who knows? And obviously, I don't want to count my chickens, but yeah. So we're gonna find a good picture of Ross to stick on my daily. All right, guys. So we have been discussing back four, midfield. We've spoke about that. We've spoke about going into the last stages of the game. We've spoke about where the risks are. With that, obviously the press conferences did take place today. I've read little bits about what Barry has kind of said, but Barry's kind of kept his cards close to his chest. I'll be honest, Dylan, do you expect tomorrow any wild cards? Because to be fair, there's been a few times where Barry has made some bold decisions and pulled a wild card out. Do you think he might do that tomorrow?
I think that maybe the only wild cards you'll see, obviously, maybe Mize Dessers starting, but more importantly, he did say that Yilmaz come through training. He'll see how he is in the morning along the bargain, etc. So I think he puts Tav at right back and puts him, because I think he's definitely going to play 5 at the back. So I think he puts Tav at right back to put his shooter, Bargain, and then Ciara, and that'll be your wild card there. I don't see him. He might start Yilmaz, but I would rather Tav started and then Ciara started. I like how when Ciara's on the ball, he's not afraid to make the passes that break the lines. It's always fizzed in as well. I know he can be a wee bit shapy defensively, but no, I think that when he's on the ball, he's actually okay. So that would probably be my biggest shout for wild card.
Okay, fair enough. Dino, I've got a good start here for you. I don't know if this helps with the confidence, but on the last 5 occasions that Bilbao have drawn the first leg of a major European tie, they have been eliminated each time. The last time a draw in the first leg was followed up with Bilbao getting through to the next round was 1976-77, back when it was UEFA Cup semi-final against RWD Molenbeek, that very famous team that we all know. So would you reckon to that, Dino? Does that put things in our favour?
I mean, when you look at it like that, there's going to be pressure, even more pressure on them because of that statistic, isn't there? Especially, so I guess that does play in our favour to some degree, because let's be honest, if you're in that Bilbao team, you would wanting to break that. What, 6 so 5? Yeah. Aye, so breaks will be the size. You'd be. I'm pretty confident that I'll play into the favour, and Barry will have that pinned on the wall.
You probably will have that pinned on the wall. I think there'll be a few choice words as well. Another interesting stat, only Lyon have scored more away Europa League goals this season, 13. We've scored 11. Lazio have scored 4, and they've won more away games than Rangers, which we've won 3. Rangers have never previously won 4 away matches in a major European campaign. So there we go. What do you reckon of that, Scotty?
It's right at the start, isn't it?
Time to break records.
Oh, aye. That squad you just don't know. Like, it's so unproven that I honestly think that if the centre backs manage to stay at each other's road tomorrow night, don't make any howling errors, and we click up front, we're through. I think I'm not saying it's that easy, but I think if those 2 things happen, then you're through. My main concern is that back 5 and going forward. If boys not stuck up front for Fenerbahce away, I think that's fair to say. If we can get these 2 things back, I think we'll be fine. I genuinely think we'll be in the semi-final. And I think it will be against, I'm going to go Lyon, because Man United are coaching. Man United are awful. Absolutely awful.
Yeah, I do feel that game at Old Trafford was a bit of we let that one slip through our fingers. The Butland own goal, yeah, that might have been a bit of justice for their opener, which kind of should have stood for me. I didn't see too much impediment on the keeper, but it was Jeff Day for me. And this is the thing that scares me with Jeff Day tomorrow. There's been about 3 or 4 instances this season he has not seen who's behind him. And I've never known a defender have that complete lack of awareness. Okay, you might get defenders who might not be able to match the pace or whatever. We've seen that with Tav. That's a bit different. But not knowing who's behind you, that does put the fear in me. But in an attacking sense, Jeff Day's quite good going forward with the ball. Granted, that's been a bit different this year. Since the Chelsea link, he just seems to have really dipped and he's had little odd spurts. Dylan, do you think, with obviously depending how we are going to go, is it going to be Jeff Day at left back, or do you think it is going to be Ridvan?
If you ask me what I want, what I think, 2 different things, I would rather Ridvan started at left back. I think he's a better 1v1 defender, and we're going to need that. But I think Jeff Day's better at breaking us out when we're under a wee bit of pressure. Yeah, Ridvan's good at it as well, but Jeff Day's a wee bit taller, a wee bit quicker, more agile on the ball for me. So I would rather Ridvan started, but I do think it will be Jeff Day, just because what Barry's comments there about Ridvan. But like I said, everybody's going to need to do their part tomorrow for us to get through, and I've got a sneaky feeling we will.
Nicholas has just put in Czerny on the left. That's a bit of a Steven Gerrard one when he used to switch Ryan Kent about for a bit of organised chaos. Dino, we aren't going to see Czerny on the left, are we? Or are we? Is this the wild card?
Nah, I fully think that Czerny will play off Dessers. I think he'll play like he did. I think he'll play quite narrow and in that hole. And as I said before, reiterate here, we're a moment's team, and it'll just be a case of getting the ball to Czerny to create a moment for us. And if he's out on the left, I can't really see him coming on his right foot and putting one in the top bag. So I think that's what we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah. No, hopefully we will. Mark, Jeff had a good clearance from Nisbet on Sunday, so hope he's learned. Yeah, you know what? There's been a couple of times where he has pulled out some good clearances, but as Dylan was saying, I think he is better at starting an attack, getting the ball, and then getting a clear ball forward. We do need an outlet tomorrow night. That's the thing for me, that we can be good at moving the ball forwards, but sometimes the passes just break down a little bit. I'd love to see somebody like Bajrami in some respects, but the Bajrami against Leon, even though we got spanked against Leon, he looked a step above everybody else that was on the park and was putting balls forward that other people weren't seeing. But he's completely fallen into the floor. Dylan, what do you think's happening with Bajrami? Is this one of these things like when some players have come to Rangers, like Barisic, the first year they were terrible, looked like they were going to leave, then suddenly they really hit some good form? Is it just taking a bit of time to adjust, or do you think his body language is showing that maybe he just doesn't want to be here?
I think it's a bit of both, mate. I think we come on, don't think he particularly played the Bajrami style of football. It was sort of hit it up, try to work off the setting balls off the striker. Like I said, I think every time he's played the left, he's actually done all right. He's no that any roots or anything like that, but I think he's done okay. I don't think he's a 10. I would never play him. I don't think there's better players that can go and play the 10, like Dio and Hadji and stuff like that are more effective in there. So, but I also think that the change of formation, that Barry's change of formation nearly every game, or personnel and within the formation every game, doesn't help. He's not really settled, and I think due to that, his mentality and his attitude's kind of sunk as well. Maybe we are the manager come in, this is how we're going to play, you're going to be a part of it, here's how I want you to play. Maybe he'll then go and thrive, but because I do think there is a player there you can see when he's even like sucking the defender in to then nick it by him. He's quite clever that way, the same way Hadji is, but he's got a bit more about him than Hadji, a bit quicker. So I think there's technical ability there, football and brain there, but just I think we just need to find the right system. And hopefully, when the new owners and stuff like that, the new manager can fit him in. Nice vibes.
Yeah. There's definitely a player in there. I noticed as well at Pataudry when he came on, he actually was a little bit of a spark. And I'm not sure if that was just because the way we changed things up a little bit as well helped him there, because he got a good few balls into the box. But no, it almost feels like a wasted talent right now. Albania seemed to play him more out on the left when there was a couple of injuries. He was playing in the 10, but they played him more out on the left, and actually he was more productive there. I do agree, because when we were crying out for him in the 10, he was in the 10. Seemed fairly anonymous. He was better out on the left, but yeah, that's the thing. He can't really start a game now either. So yeah, it's a bit of a frustrating one. John Adams was saying, I think we go through 2-2 full time, 3-2 in extra time. Ooh, I would take that. I don't know if I could take extra time, no, but yeah, no, I definitely would take that. Right, we are at 52 minutes, guys. We are going to wrap up shortly, but before we wrap up, one of our fantastic podders, you know him, Scott Cameron, on Friday, he is running 50 miles. So 50 miles. He's running from Manchester to Liverpool, the ultra marathon. He's supporting Strathcarron Hospice, which is a local hospice that is close to his heart. He is taking donations for that marathon. You'll find the link on his Twitter page at Cami26_2. That's at Cami26_2. He's heading down to Manchester tomorrow, so he's going to have to catch the game, sadly in his hotel room, I think, on his phone. So hopefully they just put in a good performance for him. But that takes a lot. He's done a few ultra marathons before. He's like you, Scotty. He just goes, I just went for a casual 15-mile run. No bother, mate, no bother. I just went down the stairs and nearly passed out. So
I'm nothing compared to Cami. Cami's a maniac, an absolute maniac when it comes to his running.
He's absolutely fantastic, isn't he? And he's doing it for a fantastic cause. Strathcarron Hospice.
It might be in the description as well, Andrew.
Brilliant. Yeah, check the description, guys. It's there. If not, at Cami26_2 on Twitter, and he's got that pinned on his page. So, guys, do I dare ask for a prediction? Dylan, what do you feel in your bones prediction-wise?
Like I said, they're not a high-scoring team. They don't concede a lot of goals. I think Dessers is going to miss opportunities. We're all going to be I'll be pulling whatever here I've got left out. I think
there's nothing there, mate. There's absolutely nothing there.
There, mate. Yeah, come on.
I can say that. You can't.
I think Iggerman, that's how I hope he starts. I think Andrew will be 1 each and it'll go extra time penalties. Rangers go 3 10s.
Don't do that to me, man. Can't you just say a nice, comfortable 2-0 by half time? You know, that'd be nice.
I'm honest.
I know we're Rangers. We don't do things the easy way, do we? Nah. But yeah, fair enough, Dylan. Scotty, dare I ask you for a prediction?
I'm going to go 2-0 Rangers.
2-0. I like you, Scotty. If I said that, I like you, mate. Is it going to be nice, done and dusted?
I'm confident about tomorrow night, but also I just want to kind of caveat that with see whatever the result is. See if we get knocked out tomorrow night. I think as Rangers team needs the plaudits and stuff that could potentially come its way if we do get knocked out. I think it's overachieved. We've had great results along the way. Even with fixtures, when we've seen the fixtures coming out in the Europa League, we were like, oh crap, we're getting pumped. But didn't we? We beat half of them teams. We progressed through to the last 8. I think it's been a monumental achievement getting to the quarterfinals of this competition. Can it go further? Aye, 100% it can go further. But if it doesn't, I think the squad needs a bit of praise, if that makes any sense. I don't think we criticise. Season will be over, aye, it will be a bit of doom and gloom, but there's also got to be a sense of realism where you realise where we are as a team and a squad and the value of the squad, and very much in a transition season. And I think achieving the quarterfinals of a strong Europa League is a pretty good achievement. But we're going through.
It's almost become a bit of a standard for us, though. And you look at the last 5 years, the teams we have beaten into the stages we've got in Europe, you know, on paper we shouldn't be getting anywhere near there, but it's almost become a bit of a standard, which is quite interesting for us going forward. But we just need to sort out the domestic form. So 2-0, Scotty. I do like that, mate. I do. I've always liked you, Scotty. I've always liked you, mate. Dino, big man with a big cheesy grin. What are you thinking score-wise for tomorrow?
Exactly the same as Dylan.
You guys are going to kill me. I've got to get up at 2 a.m. on Friday, all right, for work. So, do you know what? It probably is going to happen because I got to get up early. It'll be finishing about blooming back end of 11, won't it? Oh, I guarantee it's going to happen. But do you know what? If Rangers get through, that's all that matters. That is all that matters. Now, my prediction, I'm going to go for 1-0 and I'm going to go Dessers because Ross Graham's face is going on my backside. And, yeah, we'll probably live stream it from... I stream it from a tattoo parlor if it does happen. But guys, thank you, Dylan. Thank you ever so much, big man.
No problem, guys. Pleasure. Just to touch on as well, I think I spoke to Dave. I think we're maybe going to do a wee tactical review this game as well. If it goes good, if it goes bad, we'll review it anyway. Because it might be our last big game in Europe, so we'll dive into that as well. So look forward to that coming up as well.
Oh, looking forward to that. I do like your dissections, so fantastic. Scotty, thank you for coming on, mate. Good to see you, pal.
No, thank you for having me. Sorry for my lateness, it was unavoidable. I'm trying to tie Mitch down for a Coping Report episode. When that's going to happen with Mitch's availability, I have absolutely no idea. It will be in the works at some point, but...
To be fair, he is quite busy. He was doing his Dessers fan club mail tonight.
He's out for a week. Yeah. He's out for a week. He's doing nothing. He'll be sitting in his house eating sausage rolls.
I say he's calling out Mitch now. He's calling out Mitch. Mitch has a right to reply. Dino, big man, you are the James Bond. You're always in a different hotel in a different part of the world. You definitely are James Bond, mate. Thank you for coming on, pal.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's a pleasure and privilege as always.
Oh, look at you. What a guy. What a guy. Guys, hope you've enjoyed that. Get liking, get subscribing. Don't forget, you get 10% off all products off to the match I go with the code Journal10. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and don't forget our competition that we are running in association with Off to the Match I Go. You can win an incredibly framed graphic, which is signed by Willie Johnston and Colin Steen, 2 real Rangers legends. And to enter, all you got to do is drop a screenshot showing you subbed to the Rangers Journal on YouTube and Off to the Match I Go on Facebook. So you can sub that onto, you can DM on Twitter or on Facebook. And when we hit 3K subscriptions on YouTube, we will be doing a draw. So get your name in that hat for the draw. It costs nothing to enter. Just make sure you are subscribing to the Rangers Journal on YouTube and to Off to the Match I Go on Facebook. Every night is a Rangers Journal night, and hopefully the European journey continues. Everyone, take care. Thank you for your comments and get subscribing. See ya.